Alright, let's try to get the subscription to this tournament arc, whatever.
Tournament arc!
Yeah,
I thought you
Dej,
were going to say get jiggy with it, and I'm like, what?
Dej, trust me, while the gameplay component is gonna be fun, again, story-wise, this is, again, the slowest part in the entire movie, in this entire game, sorry. Hold on, here we go. Go ahead, Jova.
I just finished signing you up.
Gee, that was quick. Is it really that easy?
Normally, it isn't so easy, but a woman called Rue from the battling committee seems to have done some pushing and pulling on your behalf.
The battling committee? Oh, you mean those three?
Yeah, like Faye's going to rue being in the battle.
Well, anyway, thanks to them, the enrolling process went like a breeze. Hey, this means you can start battling whenever you want to, bro.
But besides that, Hammer, since yesterday, you seemed a little too happy. Is there something strange going on behind the scenes that I don't know about?
Gee, maybe I'm just excited to potentially get some freedom? Nothing at all.
Shouldn't there be dashes where the commas are?
The mechanic of champions, me, has had his sins wiped clean, so there's nothing to suspect.
Really?
What do you mean? I told you there's nothing at all. Ooh, I got a lot to do, so I'll go on ahead of you.
Oh, hey, wait. What are you up to? Not saying that...
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The battling arena is on the outskirts of D Block. Talk to the guard and he should let you pass. Bye!
That's Hammer. The outskirts of D-Block, huh?
Hey, hold on a second. Sorry.
No, don't worry. What is it, Doc? Last night you said we should act separately.
I changed my mind.
Yes, I know I did. But there is something that I am curious about. I shall join you in going to the battling arena. Is it not too late to split up after that?
Well, whatever. Anyway, let's get going.
Yeah, whatever.
You have to admit, Faye, I am a kick-ass party member. So.
Literally crotch.
Alright,
anyway.
you. Huh? Oh, it's you. I heard from the Imperial Battling Committee. I can let you through, but as long as you have that bomb car on, there's no use trying to escape.
I just fell through like that.
Stay away from the off-limits area, so it's just the civilian section, okay?
Because I thought for a second this guard's gimmick was going to be he talks in text speak.
No, we're not robotics. Anyway, again, this is, as you can see, the entirety of Kislev's capital, Northshore. It's not really the best place on Earth.
What are you doing walking on the roof, on the wall?
Man, I'm walking here!
I'm walking by map, you dunce.
So, this is the battling arena. I hear the battle theme.
Or the reception area, to be exact.
Huh? There she is.
Welcome to the battling arena. Faye? Sir?
I just remembered that that's Rue, Sherwoy, that's all.
But
Yeah.
I'm not a sir.
Several days ago, you were adamant about not piloting gears.
That's not my title. I haven't been given a
And
knighthood.
now you come crawling back to me.
Also, I think it was just yesterday, lady.
Have something happened in the last few days to make you change your mind in such a large way?
No.
The aspiring desire of freedom. Yeah, let's go with that.
Is that
Yeah,
freedom?
totally.
Is that freedom through death, or like what's this?
Living the rest of my life with sewer monster is not that bad.
Debatable.
It's
I gotta
just,
jump
well,
in.
there are many factors. Then there's this color. It gets in the way so much. It's like sand.
Your
Is it?
collar?
And you
Okay,
know,
Faye,
I
I'm
know that
kind
it's not viewable on the sprite, but
I'll be
trust me,
honest,
it's
half
there.
the time Faye talks like Johnny from The Room.
oh my god.
You're amusing.
Just like Johnny from The Room.
By the way, Rue, how's your...
What a story!
By the way,
You can
Rue,
say
how's
that
your sex
again.
life?
Are you intending to aim for victory despite it being your first try at battling?
Well, gee, it's not like I'm gonna be
Lady,
free
I
any
have a
other
tendency-
way.
I have a tendency of making things explode. Is that strange?
Hey, speaking of things exploding, don't mess up or your collar goes boom
punch
boom.
it.
No, not the least. Please excuse me.
How polite.
You'd answer my question, by the way. How is your sex life?
Probably better than yours. You seem to have quite some confidence in fighting with gears. I'm looking forward to.
I don't know. I think some girls
Also,
like having.
Deadshot.
I think some girls like it when men are wearing explosive collars around their necks.
Hmm.
Well,
Oops,
you know what
excuse me.
You know, Liz, you know what they say. There's a fetish for everything.
Yep.
Huh.
I mean, if people are into decapitation for explosions, that's fine, I guess. Well, I guess I'll show you the way to the paddocks. We don't have much time.
And there's no time to waste. The
Gotta
paddocks.
go fast.
Or else are you gonna keep you?
What are you thinking, that you're going to fight with flesh and blood?
We're not
No, you're gonna go in those
barbarians.
specs you love so
This
much.
tournament is competing with gears.
Don't you see? We're not barbarians. We're gonna have you fight with robots instead.
Not that I wouldn't mind seeing it, but
Lady, please.
Okay, maybe we aren't all barbarians, except for a few.
we told you before that that the committee would prepare a machine for you.
How kind.
This is like
You get a wheelbarrow. Enjoy.
this is like the violence equivalent of that bit with Lacey Shepard from Not Another Teen movie.
What? Did you forget?
Not some cheap slut. That's
The
right.
gear I'm going to pilot will be
Well, come on now. Walk this way.
Walk this way.
Like in terms of violence, it feels a lot like the equivalent of that bit from. Hold on, we are not ready yet. Can you spare us a little time?
Just to
No.
get warmed up.
Understood. But we don't have much time to spare, so please hurry up now.
That's
that's
why you can
basically-
all leave the building.
That's the game's excuse for the player being able to do last minute preparations.
Like you can
Basically,
still,
yeah.
you can actually check also the tutorial for the actual, because trust me, the gameplay just for this tournament goes a little wild, as you will be able to see.
Really?
Yes, don't
But yeah,
worry.
sorry.
Again,
Nothing
I'm
learned,
just
nothing
reading.
gained.
I'm just gonna read the information here that you will be able to read on screen, but we don't have to voice it. So go ahead, Pedro.
Oh no, I was just joking that violence-wise, this was like an equivalent of that bit with Lacey Shepard from Not Another Teen movie. I'm not some cheap slut. I don't just screw around any guy that gives me a letter. I give him the hand jobs. So.
All right, this particular whale tournament, again, don't worry, the text is just there for it, and then we don't have to read it. I can easily sum it up. Changes your gameplay completely because somehow, despite all the problems that this game had in development, they managed to insert a very functional 3D fighting game arena, 3D arena fighting game. Not too dissimilar to, say, traditional PS2 like era Dragon Ball video game, believe it or not, using the gears. And again, it's pretty functional. And later on, you can even come back and customize all the matches that you can want. You can even play against the player too. So the devs built it with the idea of being a perfectly functional minigame that you can, do at any point. And it's relatively expanded as well. Like, I wouldn't have minded if it got a separate release.
Oh my god, Tio. Could
Yes.
this be connected to the mystical two-player version of Final Fantasy VIII that we saw in Charlie's Angels?
Actually, it wasn't it 2 Men and a Half that had it?
No. It was in Charlie's Angels.
Oh no, two Men and a Half had the kid trying to buy Final Fantasy X, but thinking it was a shooter or something.
I think you mean 2.5 Men.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, but yeah, seriously though, I want to see whatever edition of Final Fantasy VIII is a two-player edition. And the big thing is that apparently one of the kids in that scene was a friend of Gerard the Completionist.
The best thing about it, Joey, not best thing about it, but hilariously enough, though, Final Fantasy IX is actually two-player compatible, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really change anything.
Really?
Believe me.
It just means the second player can pick the commands for a certain character. That's
And you
all it is.
alternate between each other, basically.
Wow, that's something I could do. just by passing a controller to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't even know why Square put it there. Like, it's not that it's a bad feature or anything, but it feels so unnecessary. Anyway, let's begin.
The Tales series does something like that as well, where you can a second player can control one of the characters, and yeah, it also doesn't feel like the game is clearly not designed with that feature in mind.
I
so
guess
it's just kind of tacked on.
I guess it is a way for two people to play an RPG along with each other. It's just, you know, RPGs normally aren't two-player for a reason.
All right, let's see what the gear that we have assigned is. Three guesses on what that is.
I wonder.
All right, let's. Yes, lady. Now, please let us pass.
You better hurry, which is why I'm standing here holding you up telling you.
Now move along now.
Yeah, even you, Amber, please.
Oh, by the way, did you read the rules?
All right, go ahead. I think she about to mention. I'm actually not losing Drova.
Oh,
Roomam.
Support Roomam, what
shall
shall we do?
could somebody else
Pedro?
take this one
Partner
over?
officials, pilot confirmation complete. Suggest first start opponent to be the black gear. It's because they don't have the black background.
No, they don't have the background, so it's
Yes,
like...
ma'am.
Don't worry. And it's what a coinkydink is Weltall.
Oh, what are the odds?
Well, golly gee,
Yo.
I'll probably have so much trouble. Hey, is this?
Yeah, it's me. This must be the gear that was furnished for you.
By the committee.
My, this is a surprise.
Uh-huh.
I do not think this is coincidental. I am simply assuming.
Wait, you
But they
didn't plan
probably-
this?
But they probably intentionally furnished you with Weltall to collect some data.
Intentionally?
Battling itself serves as one of Kislev's plans. From battling, they can obtain the various combat data.
What is your deal?
And talented battlers which can be used for the military. Well, if I told you now, it would be a spoiler for the rest of the
what
story, now
kind
wouldn't
of
it?
data could they get out of him and I?
I would not know. Remember, Miss Shiroi, we are trying to keep the player in suspense. But I can assure you that this has something to do with the incident, without it.
I'm surprised that this wasn't one of Chitan's plans, honestly.
Well, regardless of what the Empire is up to, this is good for us. You are able to get the gear you are most used to. So basically nothing changes. If you think about it, this is just an enhanced probability of escaping.
No, not.
So stop complaining and get on it.
Alright, let's have some tutorial mode, why not? Again, the
ahead.
rules are relatively simple, actually. Again, this is basically a 3D battle, 3D arena fighting game. You on the left, the opponent on the right, and the controls are simple but yet effective. You move with the left analog stick or the directional pad, you know. You attack with square and I think triangle. Again, pardon me, it's been a while since I recorded this. You have also a projectile attack, but it does consume energy, and if you consume it too much, your health start being depleted by overheat. So your goal is to basically roll around the arena, occasionally shooting a projectile, reaching the opponent from behind and trying to hit them, you know, as hard as you can. Again, it's not really similar to a Dragon Ball fighting game when you think about it.
Is this Unholy War?
No, Dweebs, because it's not strategy based.
Honestly, you
No,
know,
I mean, the battles are kind of like. From what you told me and from what I'm seeing here so far, the battles look, at least look similar to it.
Go ahead, Java.
You know, honestly, this gameplay sounds fleshed out. This gameplay sounds fleshed out enough to be its own game. Honestly,
like I said, I really wish we had like a separate release for it, or even a case where after you beat the game, you can actually play it from the main menu. But sadly no. Like, if this game gets re-released in a format similar to the Saga Frontier Master, I hope they implement this kind of thing, you know, separately after you beat the game.
honestly, I'll admit I'm kind of surprised that this isn't how the main mech gameplay is played. I mean, granted, I I do sort of get maybe they wanted to streamline it so that it's not too different from how it is on foot.
You
but
even have
honestly, I
there you
think-
go. You even have different types of terrains that affect your abilities as well. Again, with just a bit of extra tinkering, you can make an entire separate game that you can sell for $20 if you want.
You think they were hoping this would be a groundbreaking success and they were wanted to do that?
Potentially,
That does sound
potentially.
like something
keep
they
in mind,
would
like,
do.
This could have been their own version of Air
Her
Guys.
guys. Square was already, starting to dip their toes with stuff like her guys.
But yeah,
So yeah, it's totally possible. Also, there was Bushido Blade at the same time too.
But yeah, I
Yes,
will
Jova?
say this. It's weird that this wasn't the main mech gameplay because it seems more differentiated. And like, well, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe they wanted to have the mech gameplay be similar enough to the on-foot gameplay, but I don't know. I mean, it feels almost like, having this be the main mech gameplay would have, helped differentiate the two halves of stuff. Like, well, make it so that the mech gameplay doesn't essentially just feel like the on-foot gameplay, but on steroids. Like, maybe that was the idea, though, but again, like, this feels, I'd say, different enough. I mean, granted, it doesn't seem too hard to get into. I mean, and okay, if they were worried about people being alienated by the gameplay, well, this is still a required part of the game, so honestly,
No, again, as a minigame, I really like this, but I don't really think this should have been the main gear mode. What they did in terms of, still being a turn-based RPG, just applying the different, things for the gear was perfectly fine for me.
I suppose.
Do we have many fighting games that are just giant mechs besides Virtual On and...
God, I think, there are several Gundam games that do that, I guess. Super Robot Wars is just a series of RPGs, so no, we do not count.
Yeah, like that's an RPG.
There we do have games about giant kaijus fighting, but yeah, I'm not quite sure
Not
about
anymore.
robots. Huh?
Some of them do have stuff like Jet Jaguar, so there is that.
Yeah. Oh, the Godzilla Destroy All Monster games were amazing.
I played that.
Which one,
It was
Game
okay.
Boy or GameCube?
GameCube. Like Terrence brought it over, and we did record it, but the audio, like we were so exhausted, so it was like, yeah, let's not.
I actually covered the Game Boy Advance version for this channel a while back.
Wasn't it Godzilla Domination instead?
Well, okay, it's essentially the Game Boy version of it, but the Game Boy and that basically it's one of those cases where the handheld and console version have slightly different names, but they're still supposed to be counterparts of the same game.
Alright, if I recall correctly, I'm gonna have like a practice round and then I'm gonna start properly the first match.
So, like you said, gameplay-wise, this is actually a nice change of pace here. I mean, I guess maybe story-wise
It's
we
very
stopped, but-
fast-paced too, so it really
Yeah.
can catch you off guard if you're not careful. You even look at that. You even have a frame count and even particular data. Not even that. If I recall correctly, I'll have to check in between parts. But when you actually the proper minigame is unlocked properly for the two-player mode and everything, you can even you have some weird, bizarre customization, including, if I recall correctly, the FPS limit. Yes, really.
Really?
Jesus Christ, they really went out with this.
Again, at least if I recall correctly. Again, I'll check in between parts just to be sure. But again, they go kind of crazy with this relatively minor thing.
Okay, success or not, how did this not become its own
There you go.
minigame?
Oh, there you go. Right now I can see. Look at that. You can customize the frame rate, the type of AI you can have.
Jesus.
What?
This game was way ahead of its time. Being able to customize your own frame rate?
These seriously needed a separate release.
Granted,
Yeah.
it seems that the highest you can go is 30, but still.
That's
being
because
able
the
to-
20 is to adapt to the European televisions, remember, Jova?
Honestly,
But,
this is kind of
keep in
amazing
mind,
for a game of this age to have
And keep
something
in mind
as
that
high-tech as that.
this was not released in Europe, remember. This was just for the kings in case you just happen to have a European television laying around. This is probably the most bizarre accessibility feature for the time being.
But screw it, it's
This-
accessibility
this-
feature I kind of like.
This in a game that doesn't actually have customization for stuff like the audio layers, or the actual text speed, something that the
get the
Pokemon
feeling
games
to-
had.
I get the feeling too that at some point this game probably was planned for a European release, but it got canceled eventually because this was released in 1998. By this point in time, hold on.
Have it your way then. Playtime is now over.
This kind of feels like a different
Huh?
game.
What's going on? Yeah, your first fight is kinda... Oh no, what the... My gears! Ah, shit, I overhit.
What?
Yeah, your first match was kinda rigged from the start. We will get an extra dialogue later. But in the meantime, oh no, not again, Mom.
Suddenly freedom
Please,
seems a bit farther
I
away.
promise I'll be a good boy.
I'm gonna enjoy my summer vacation and sleeps.
Meanwhile,
Sounds
two of
good.
Rico's subordinates are actually patrolling the sewers just to be sure. Go ahead, Java.
Jerk. He's probably in bed somewhere now.
Wasn't that a bit too much? If Trump points out, we're done for.
I don't get it. Let's just get this over with. Tonight's creepy. The rats are restless.
What? This isn't like you. Alright, let's then it's you and me. Sorry. That's one.
Oh man, this is bad. The hairs on the back of my neck are all standing up, and I'm talking to myself about this for some reason. Something weird's out there.
Hmm. Huh. Huh? Must just be my imagination. It's just a cardboard box. Uh-oh. Something in first person. What?
Are we
Huh?
playing Predator?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
So you came out.
Interesting phrasing there.
What the? Crap. This monster's. Stay away! Ah!
Well, something bad happened. Well, who cares? Let's get to. Oh,
But guys,
where
that
am
was,
I? Oh, the infirmary.
You've
Oh
got
my
to stop
God, not
coming here
again.
like this.
there was no exclamation marks. You could have just read it as "wow."
Well, hello, Faye.
Doc, what happened to me this time? How did I get here again?
During the battling match, there was a sudden explosion, remember?
Oh, that's right. In that explosion, I lost consciousness.
You're lucky
In fact,
that's
that was
all
the
you
worst that happened
lost.
to you.
It was a large explosion, but you were fortunate the gear was Weltall. Any other gear and I would hate to think. Anyway, you are safe. That is what matters.
Thanks to Weltall, huh?
Yep, I saved your ass.
Doc, how many days have passed since then?
18.
Only a day has elapsed since the
I
accident.
need to stop
You
going
made
to
an
comas.
amazing recovery.
Your injuries were relatively minor. So
Only one day.
what is the matter, Faye?
Oh, maybe it's the fact that I was
I
almost
had an
blown up.
awful dream. Can't remember it, but I just know it was awful.
A dream?
It was nothing, I guess. Don't worry about it, Doc.
I dreamed a dream.
Doc, I got to get back to battling. I want to get this exploded color off of me as soon as I fucking can.
Wow.
Faye, how is your health holding up? I do not want you to push yourself.
There's no use saying that. Time is not going to wait. I can't just do nothing.
It seems that a good motivator for Faye is people trying to kill and blow him up.
I suppose you are right. I understand what you mean, Faye. We have got to try and get out of here as soon as we possibly can. But that does not mean you have to overexert yourself again straight away. Take time to rest up a little more.
You're the Doc. I'll try and get a little more rest. Thank you,
Well,
Richard. Really cool.
Well, aren't you a comedian, Faye?
Also, Henry, you got nothing to say?
You just walked right through me. How you feeling, bro? All this running backwards and forwards is killing me. I know it's a bit sudden, but how about buying something?
No. Hammer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
folks,
my
about the
bro.
explosion.
You're
Hey.
too kind, man. I feel appreciated. So what do you need, bro?
But yeah, Basically, the major gimmick is gonna be event for like 2 days straight. So you will have to do proper fair and square. Now battling this time around. Win, go back to the infirmary, get some sleep, and then proceed to the next day. It's a bit. It's definitely padding.
Well,
Don't get me wrong. The gameplay is technically fine, but it wouldn't have mind if you went to go to the battling straight away, one after the other. But no, we actually have to go back to the infirmary and let time pass by sleeping on the bed.
I'm curious, will the whole sabotage of the mech thing be addressed?
Yes, in the next part actually. Don't worry, there is a reason why it was done.
Okay.
I think the battling committee will tell you right now in this one, but properly fake confronting what just happened on his own is gonna happen in the next part.
I'm a battler in training. Praise in rank C. Goody goody, today's menu is... Ooh, when I eat this, my ether value will shoot up, and before you know it, I'll be an ether master. Man, I hope that happens.
No, that won't happen. Thanks,
Aw.
Richard. Like,
Yes. No, that's literally what you're going. Spoilers I won't.
like, good to know.
Okay. Kudos to Richard, that was classic.
I'm pretty
Arrested
sure that was
Development
in the original as well, but I get the idea that Richard just rephrased it to be like that. But yeah, our rank also determines also which kind of meal we can get. If we get arcade, we can just
boost
decide.
limit, get it?
Allow me to.
That's because the chef here is a very stereotypical French accent.
Allow me to go over it too. By the time Richard finished translation and was over reading the script one more time before sending it in, you realized, you know, this bit never comes back, does it? You know what? Fuck it. I'll just say spoilers. It won't.
It's for comedy. Laugh, goddammit. Let's see how it tastes. Very nice, but I sure don't feel any change. Well,
Don't
whatever.
worry, the steroids will kick in eventually.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the Northern government decides voluntarily to give boosters to the inmates in the fucking gulag to give them a chance to actually escape on their own.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Dearest Martha, it has been quite a day here. My mech has been sabotaged by an unknown seen force here. The first thing I did after recovering was getting ready to sprint right back in there. It's my only way out of this hellhole, and that is of course coveted by part of the city, paid by the taxes of the citizens, rather unknowing. It scares me deep inside, Martha. Signed, dearest yours.
But yeah, again, what you need to do now is to actually get back to the battling block. I think I talked also a bit with Hammer beforehand. Again, most of his dialogue is just optional. The game is just expecting you to go straight away to battling again.
Man, I'm not seeing the bad dragging bits of the story you've been foreshadowing yet.
Jovan, we just started. We're gonna be here for at least another 7 parts.
7 parts?
Ha!
Yeah.
That's
Are they
our
all-
favorite Final Fantasy game.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are all of those 7 parts as long as this one too?
Some of them are slightly longer. It's a bit inconsistent, I can tell
I mean,
you
to
that.
be fair, okay, without being that guy, it's a tournament arc. They
Not just
usually
that,
last long.
it's not even that we'll be doing technically different things, but again, there won't be that much of an impressive change in location, I can tell you that.
Okay. To be fair, with Final Fantasy VII, you do spend a good deal in Midgard before you get to the proper
I can tell you
travel,
this,
so-
Things
Midgard...
happened in Midgard. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of...
Midgard had also a lot of interesting locales, and
Yeah.
and the pre-rendered background did help as well. I don't mind the fact that even the building and in this game everything is pre-rendered with 3D models and sometimes sprites, to give a more sim effect. But in some cases like this one, it makes the backgrounds kinda uninteresting. I get that's the idea that it's supposed to be a gulag, a prison, but Northern is just so dull looking.
Well, the main thing
I'm
I was going
sorry.
to ask is like, well, okay, how much stuff is happening story-wise to at least keep the player invested?
A
It would
bit, but let me put it like this. The game could have easily just cut away until the portion where until like a portion towards the end of the Kislev arc, just easily sum up with one or two paragraphs of text what happened, and it would have been just the same.
Oh, so it's kind of a case where it's not necessarily all bad writing. It's just a case of, well, you kind of dragged out what could have been summed up. And
it's not even supposed to be a filler. This is still relatively important for you to know, but for some reason they decide to pace it in such a, dull way. And again, that includes also starting in this particular minigame,
You do have a bit of a good point, though. I mean, Echo, I think this is the one place where we probably are going to have been in this game the longest, at this point in the story, mind you.
Like, compare this to Act 1. You were basically jumping from place to place. You felt like a progression or something, but now, because of story reason, you're basically halted into just being here and having to try to find a way to actually get out of this place. Not moving too much from one place or another,
So I guess another question would be, do you feel that the gameplay at least was balanced enough to be so that, the gameplay could distract you from the fact that
I can tell you this. This minigame is nice. You might have noticed, but we haven't done much proper fighting with the traditional RPG mechanics, me noticed.
Yes.
We will do that technically in the next part, but let's just say that again, because of the game is more enamored with its story, more than anything else, we would not have much of dungeon crawling, in this particular act, until two specific occasions. And sure, those would be technically fine, but it will still be technically speaking a step down compared to Act 1. Most of the time, you will be spending having to roam around, the gulag, talking with people, and having this particular minigame. Yes, Dej?
I was gonna say one. Are you gonna change when you do robot battles? Are you gonna change the music to fighting game music?
No, it changes. It uses the same. It uses the same battling music that it's used for some particular battle, but it starts as soon as you enter the battling arena. I forgot if when you actually unlock the mode properly, you can actually use the music track that you want, but I don't think so.
It's also, I'll just finish my earlier point. As a thing too, starting around this point, a lot of Dreamcast PAL games started having an option for 60 hertz for those Europeans who did have a TV that was actually capable of an NTSC signal. And starting with the PS2, even the American PS2 games started having an option for 480p. So this was kind of getting to a point where developers. So I get the feeling this game was originally planned for a European release. But the developers were getting ahead of the game. And, maybe we should also give an option to allow for people to choose which frame rate they want.
Potentially, but again, it's kind of inconsistent considering this mode alone has these kind of options, while the main game, either from your main menu or from the actual title screen, does not have even basic stuff like regulating the different layers of a volume. Like. It's weird. Then again, I know that some games also like Final Fantasy VII did not have them for anything, but I don't know. I think it could have been possible. Still, I hope that potential re-release can potentially implement those as well, even in some other particular improvements, including the toning down at the very least, if not the removal of the flashing lights, because trust me, Shiri, we're gonna get even worse starting from the next part.
That's it. I mean, granted, who knows, maybe when we do experience it, it won't be as bad as you're hyping it up to be, but I will say this. It does sort of fit this game's MO here, I think the best way to describe this game is this game feels like the video game equivalent to Amazing Spider-Man, the movie, essentially. What it does right, it does phenomenally. It's just that the stuff it doesn't do well also can come off just as strong. In Amazing Spider-Man's case, that dragged what could have been a great movie down to being just good or decent at best. We all know how Amazing Spider-Man 2 pretty much screwed the pooch.
Let's not get into that, please.
when it does right, I really do enjoy that it does right. However, when it does do some boneheaded stuff, especially sometimes when it kind of flip-flops with Faye's character, kind of getting a bit angsty even after he's gotten out of it. Granted, that was only for a bit, but still, when it happened, it was kind of annoying.
Alright, there you go. We got the quota, so we technically can, if I recall correctly, leave for the day. But if I recall correctly, I just jump cut.
Oh, and Supervisor...
Remember, this is still a gulag.
Today's battling matches have all finished.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Today is the third day of the games. Win 2 bouts and you qualify for tomorrow's semifinals.
Yeah, let's just get this over with. 2 more battles. And to give credit, you even get to fight different types of gears, but you don't actually fight as an RPG like enemies. These are unique models just for this game mode alone. They power to create this. Maybe these are just unused enemies they could not implement. Maybe, who knows? But it's still pretty cool that you get some exclusive type of fights here. Even if everyone behaves kind of like the same, each revenge still has a different kind of model. Sometimes the speed, the stats are a little different. Again, there's a legitimately good idea for a separate game of its own in this mode alone. It's kind of like, considering how Square did release the separate versions of both Triple Triad and Tetramaster, they could have done something similar to this.
Possibly.
And keep in mind what I said in part 0. Don't worry, Square Enix has not forgotten that this game exists because you think, oh, it was like a development hell and the people who made it are not working anymore. No, don't worry. They do remember that this exists, but to the extent I will explain that in the final
And they re-released it?
Only once on the PlayStation 3, PSN, for America and Japan only.
When it says you were victorious, I keep expecting it to vanish and be like, you were victorious, but psych, you lose.
Funnily enough, Smash of all things remembers that this game exists.
Yeah, we did mention in one of the early parts as well that, but again, I want to save it for everything for the final thoughts. Again, the special bonus you get it if you actually manage to win the fight without actually getting hurt. Traditional kind of bonus stuff, Let's see what the final opponent is for the time being, Musha. Yeah, that's also another thing. I never actually played on my own, but I kept hearing the fact that Square did actually made or at least published, a fighting game for the PS1 called Bushido Blade, but I never heard anyone talking about it. I was hoping someone like Natural Red would talk about it at some point, but I haven't checked any particular reviews of it so far, sadly.
Say this, I'm still salty about how they kind of just left Brave Fencing Musashi by the wayside after they screwed up the series itself trying to make it the new Kingdom Hearts. And then they just put the blame on the series and just left it out with the cats.
Okay. Stop Skeletons from Fighting did a review of both Bushido Blades 5 years ago. I'll probably check that one out. Who knows?
Okay, so a friend of mine, he got the first Brave Fencer Musashi because he loved the SGB playthrough.
Okay.
So when he met Some Call Me Johnny to autograph it, Johnny told him, avoid the sequel like the plague. Like, oh. How bad is it?
I mean, okay.
The only thing I know is the artwork in which Musashi is designed by Tetsuya Nomura and has a hairdo that's definitely a weird hairdo.
Let me put it like this. You might like the sequel because you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, but honestly, even Kingdom Hearts fans didn't really like it that much. Let me put it like this. They turned a relatively unique-looking protagonist into essentially a taller, more feminine-looking Sora wannabe. Right down to the voice, too, as well. And
I forgot, is any voiced by Mona Marshall?
Actually, okay. In the second game, she has the same voice as X7's version of Axel.
Okay. Okay. Basically, in the original, he was voiced by Mona Marshall. But yeah, and the second one, for some reason they decided to share the same voice actress that voiced Axel from Mega Man X7. So yes, from one outstanding sequel to another she went.
Anyway, let's retire for the time being, considering we have been doing decently so far in the tournament. Again, despite the dead bomb and the progress at the beginning, we're making progress. So let's call it a day for this. Doc, you're not Morgana. Sorry.
Go to sleep.
All right, tune in now. Yeah, if I manage to find the bed, there you go. I guess I can rest here. The rank 8 bed it is. Tune in for the next part, where Pei actually gets to resolve the problem that involved, the bombing of his gear, and to see if he can find the responsible for that.
Holy shit! I was so invested in this, I didn't know we were at the end.
See ya.
That's the wonder of these parts. See ya.